I turned 18 3 days before that night, expecting nothing. No cake, no gift, not even a happy birthday. That was normal in our house. But what happened at dinner? I never expected that. Derek, my older brother, was bragging about the law firm internship Dad had secured for him. Monica, my sister, boasted about her new influencer deal. Mum, Elaine, looked at them like they were God's chosen ones. I sat quietly, eating the dry chicken, until I finally spoke. I got accepted into community college. I was thinking of applying for financial aid. The silence hit first. Then Dad laughed, a sharp, cruel sound. Financial aid? You want taxpayers to waste money on a failure like you? Thomas sneered, slamming his fork down. Monica smirked. Riley, community college isn't real college. You'd embarrass yourself. Honestly, some people aren't made for more than folding shirts at minimum wage. I swallowed hard. I just wanted to try. Mum cut in, her wine glass raised high. Try? We've tried with you for 18 years, and you've given us nothing. No talent, no ambition, no beauty, just dead weight. Derek chuckled without looking up from his phone. Maybe she can start a GoFundMe for losers. Their laughter roared around me, but I didn't join in. I thought I was family, I whispered. That was when Dad slammed his fist down, rattling the plates. Family? You're not family. You're a mistake we've been tolerating out of pity. And that pity runs out tonight. Get out. Elaine didn't even flinch. Pack your trash. You're dead to us. Monica slid my plate away. Leave. Riley, you're ruining the vibe. I stood frozen until Dad shoved a garbage bag at me. Here, for your stuff. That's all it's worth. So I left barefoot, clutching a bag with 3 t-shirts and a cracked phone. The summer air pressed down, thick with shame. 4 weeks. I drifted, friends' couches, a cheap hostel, sometimes the bus station bench. But every sleepless night hardened me, every cruel word carved something sharper inside me. Then one night, at a coffee shop, I overheard Monica live streaming. Dad's funding Derek's app. It's going to be huge. Once we're rich, losers like Riley will regret how they treated us. That was the moment it clicked. They didn't just want me gone. They wanted me erased, forgotten, buried beneath them forever. But I had learned something out there in the cold. Even golden people bleed when you strike where it hurts most. Right then, I made a decision. I wouldn't just survive. I'd make them choke on the pedestal they built for themselves. No screaming, no blood, just patience, precision, and the one thing they never believed I had, the ability to watch, wait, and strike. I knew their weaknesses, every secret they thought I was too useless to notice. For the first time in weeks, I smiled. If they thought I was dead to them, fine, let them see what happens when the dead don't stay buried. The first 3 weeks after being thrown out were brutal. A friend's couch until her landlord complained, washing dishes for cash under the table, skipping meals to afford bus fare, nights spent curled on a cracked vinyl couch in the back of a greasy diner, surrounded by the smell of burnt coffee and fryer oil. But it was in that haze of exhaustion that clarity came. Their voices echoed in my head. Useless. Dead weight. Dead to us. And then it hit me. Thomas, Elaine, Derek, Monica. They thrived on control, on looking flawless. The perfect family, the empire builders, the golden children. Their weakness wasn't money or power, it was image. And I was going to turn that against them. I worked double shifts at the diner, saving every dollar, not to survive, but to build something bigger. While they preened for the world, I stayed quiet, watching. Thomas's company, Davenport Solutions, was announcing a huge partnership tied to Derek's shiny new app. Monica, meanwhile, was busy selling lies, taking deposits from small brands, never posting their products, parading in rented luxury clothes as if she owned them. Their lives weren't golden, they were hollow scaffolding. All I had to do was pull one beam, and it would all collapse. So I started small, silent, invisible. I created a fake account and reached out to Monica's sponsors, the small skincare and boutique companies she'd scammed. Posing as a curious buyer, I asked if their contracts had been fulfilled. Most admitted they hadn't. Then I planted a single seed. You should probably check where your money went. A lot of people are starting to complain. Within 2 weeks, Monica's name was circulating in private brand forums, scammer, liar, thief. But I wasn't finished. Derek was next. His app hinged on one crucial security certification. What he didn't know was that I'd spent my childhood in Dad's office, sitting silently in corners while they whispered business plans, convinced I was too dim to understand. I remembered everything. So I slipped a tip to a small tech blogger. Look into how Davenport Solutions is bypassing data privacy laws for Derek Davenport's app. Start with the certification files. It only took one article. 1. Investors who had pledged millions suddenly backed away, demanding audits Derek couldn't pass. And then came the perfect stage, Dad's investor gala. I didn't plan a flashy exposé, no giant screens or dramatic speeches. My weapon was subtler. I invited Callie Harper, a former project manager Dad and Derek had humiliated and fired years ago, ruining her career. She arrived transformed, elegant, commanding. At first, they didn't even recognize her. From the corner of the ballroom, I watched as she charmed investors, slipping in truths about fraud, unpaid debts, and mismanagement. Every word verifiable, every word a crack in their golden facade. The whispers spread fast. Investors began drifting out before dinner was served. Thomas barked at Derek. Derek snapped at Monica. Elaine shrieked at them all. Their perfect family fractured in the very moment they'd meant to shine. But I wasn't finished. I had one last card to play, the one that would strip away not just their wealth, but the respect they craved more than oxygen. I arrived early on the night of the final strike. The ballroom glittered with glass walls, chandeliers spilling light across polished marble, waiters gliding like shadows in crisp black uniforms. The Davenport Investor Gala, their pride, their stage to prove they were untouchable. Tonight, I would burn that illusion to ash. I slipped through the crowd with a champagne flute in hand, invisible. My palms sweated, but inside I was steady, cold. For 6 months I'd been building this arsenal: Monica's fake contracts, Derek's doctored investor decks, Dad's offshore accounts, Mum's texts calling me garbage, and a parasite we should have left at birth. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to plead. Their own sins would do the work. The first hit landed quietly. Monica basked in the glow of attention, surrounded by influencers and brand reps. I waited until she ducked into the ladies' room, leaving her phone on the marble counter. From my pocket, I triggered the timed posts I'd queued up, screenshots from every brand she scammed, every broken contract, every unpaid invoice. By the time she re-emerged under the chandeliers, the room had shifted, screens lit up, whispers sharpened. A brand representative grabbed her wrist. "So, you thought you could steal from us and still walk in here?" Monica froze, her face draining of color as cameras flashed. Someone filmed her unraveling as security pulled her away. The first domino had fallen. Then came Derek. He stood near Dad's table, chest puffed like a rooster, boasting about his innovative app to a circle of investors in sleek suits. I slipped into their group, swirling my champagne, smiling as though I belonged. "That's funny," I said lightly. "I read this morning your app failed its security certification. Something about data privacy violations?" The laughter died. One investor frowned and pulled out his phone. 2 more followed. Within seconds, Derek's own phone started buzzing, then ringing non-stop. I leaned close, my voice a whisper meant only for him. "Maybe you should mention the fake beta testers too, the bots you bought to inflate downloads." His face drained. "How do you know?" he hissed, grabbing my arm. I slipped away before he could finish. The investors closed in, their expressions darkening with every headline on their screens. Second domino down. But the nuclear strike was still waiting. Dad strutted on stage, Elaine at his side like a queen in pearls, ready for their annual victory speech. His voice boomed across the ballroom. "We believe in honor, integrity, and family." The doors opened, and Callie Harper walked in. The woman they'd ruined years ago, the one they mocked until she disappeared. Only now she wasn't the timid project manager they'd crushed, she was the new CEO of their biggest competitor, and tonight, she held the loyalty of Davenport Solutions' largest investors. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Callie strode to the front, shaking hands, flashing a smile sharper than a blade. "You look familiar," Mum stammered, trying to keep her composure. Callie leaned just close enough for the front row to hear, but half the room caught it anyway. "Don't worry, Elaine. By the end of tonight, everyone will remember me." This time the investors didn't slip away quietly. They walked out in droves. Mid-speech, sponsors followed, cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions. And then I stepped forward. At the center table, I dropped a thick folder with a slap that echoed. Inside, tax fraud letters, offshore accounts, Derek's doctored contracts, Monica's scams, and Mum's own texts calling me garbage and a parasite we should have left at birth. "You called me garbage," I said evenly, my words carrying through the still live microphone. "But tonight, everyone sees who the real trash is." Elaine lunged for the folder, but too late. Dozens of phones had already recorded every page. Within 48 hours, investors abandoned Davenport Solutions. Monica's sponsorships vanished overnight. Derek's app was pulled from every platform pending investigation, and tax authorities announced a full-scale audit. The clip of Mum shrieking went viral under one brutal hashtag #GarbageRoyalty. The empire they worshipped collapsed in real time. That night, I moved into the studio apartment I'd been paying for quietly, piece by piece, while planning their downfall. No tears, no apologies. I didn't burn their house, I burned their world. And for the first time since they threw me out, I slept peacefully, because this wasn't just revenge. It was reclamation.